Well, you suddenly boomed up. I could copy you well then. Must have found the power button. Okay, and for those that might be joining us, and I will say good morning to everybody from Gulf Harbour Radio. Navara are at 2508-17716, steering 259. I think that was true. I didn't quite catch that. 6.5. And there is an east-northeast 15 to 20 up there, so you've got it pretty good, except for the direction. 1021 on the bar. Was that pretty correct, over?
Correct, our course is 359 negative. 359 negative.
Yeah, you just took a bit of a dive then. All right, 359 magnetic. All right, I shall put that in, and sounds like all is going pretty well for you guys. Okay, good morning to you both, and good morning to everybody else. It is actually quite a good morning here for us at the moment. It rained earlier on. It's going to be pretty snotty for a few days, but we have quite a warm temperature because the wind is very, very light, 3 knots from the north, and 19 degrees. You cannot complain about that at this time of the year. It's about 50% cloud cover, but we do have a problem for the weekend weather, so we'll make the most of what dryness we have got here. And yeah, we've got a few people have made progress based on the reports. Navara are going well. Frank, another adventure is at Port Resolution, so all is good there. Waiting for customs, so sounds like you don't have to traipse over the hill anymore. So that's good progress. At Vanuatu there, they had showers last night. Slight roll in the anchorage, but it's good when you can get the anchor down. It's only a very light east-southeast 6 knots at Port Resolution at the moment, 20% cloud cover. Good morning to Jonathan and Donna on Shanu, tucked up at Muscat Cove, leaving the boat for a month or so. And we have Villamese almost ready to go up there in Opua. Good morning. And Pilgrim. Motoring well. Boy, they can motor well. 6.9. 5% cloud cover. They're up at 26 and 177, well, almost 178 east with pretty light winds, 10 knots. And while I'm on that, I got a message from Mike. That's Yit Mike. We always call him Yit Mike. Who organises the Yit site. He's got another feature on the Yit site, which will make life a bit more interesting for your friends and family that are following you when you are on passage. If they go to your Yit page, as I've just done to go to Pilgrim, to look at their passage north, at the top right-hand corner of the picture, the picture that will appear there, there is windy TY wind forecast, and if you push that, you can see, or your friends can see, the sort of wind conditions that are around you in the area. It's quite fun. And then down the bottom of the Google map, you can push and it will show you what's going to happen over the next few days, which I did for Pilgrim. And it's just what David said yesterday. It's the wind's slowly going to back to be on the nose, but by the time that happens, they're going to be up further and we'll have it in a better direction. So it's quite a good feature, worthwhile explaining to anyone that's following you to just click on that. It might be useful to actually put a message on Mike up there where you have the cruising season is about to start. You can actually put a little message there so people can see to click on Windy and show what's going on. All right, before I call for any other boats that want to tell me what's going on in your neck of the woods, a little bit of news. There's been quite an exchange of missiles and rockets between Iran forces in Syria and Israel. The Iran forces in Syria, or the Syrians, whoever, started it off by shooting a lot of rockets and stuff across, and Syria responded with their own missiles. They've actually got an anti-missile system. It's called the Iron Dome defense system that can bring these things down before most of them arrive. What's the difference between a missile and a rocket?
Oh, I don't know. When I was in Vietnam, the Viet Cong used to fire rockets at us and these are, fired by a single person, low level surface, and you just aimed it by sort of pointing it. Where missiles, I would guess, have got guidance systems, and yeah, I don't know. This was a long time ago for me, so I don't know what they've got now.
Yeah, I think things have changed a bit in the last 50 years. Moving on to Malaysia, the Malaysians have just ousted the party that's been in power for 60 years and put in place a former Prime Minister who's in a different party, 92 years old. You'd think that somebody would have much better things to do with their life when they're 92 than get back into politics, wouldn't you? But there you have it. Oh, and Kilauea.
Once a liar, always a liar.
Once a liar, always a liar. Kilauea. As you know, that's been spewing lava quite spectacularly, and the experts are now saying that there could be a major eruption there on the Big Island. There's a lot of stuff has come out of the centre, and evidently that is sort of an indication that when all that lava's gone, up comes the rocks and everything else. Alright, there's a bit of news on the motor scene. Nissan have joined Toyota in putting sales of diesel cars in Europe. They're going to switch their emphasis from diesel to electric. Toyota made that announcement last month. Evidently in Europe, the big scandal from VW with the emissions problem prompted this. And in fact, the ex-head of VW is going to face criminal charges in Germany. So that's not a very good way to end your business career, is it? Okay, is there anybody out there that would like to tell me what it's like in the islands, or ask for any specific weather? Please call. I think I hear somebody, but it's not all that clear. Could you call again just with your boat name a couple of times? No, it must be something else. Okay, good morning to those that have joined us on streaming. We have a report from Whangarei. It's pretty much the same as here, except slightly west of northwest. Mild temperatures. Yes, usually they moan about the temperatures up there in Whangarei. Thanks, Eagles Wings. From Whistler, who are up. Oh, let's have a look at the satellite picture. Oh, yes, on and off cloud up there in Fiji. 10 knots of east-southeast up there in the Savu area. So not all that wondrous start to the day, but I'm sure it will improve. I'll just do another call. If there's anybody wanting anything, please call. No, nothing heard. There's not much reports in. Haven't heard much from Bright Angel for a while. The trouble with the morning now is there's so many boats coming in from the northern hemisphere, and of course it's a good time for them to report. But I have to wade through. 2C2 reported in. They had a long report. They're in Papeete, north of Marina Tena. So they have got quite a good report from the Papeete area. Must have a good read of that. Haven't seen where Surreal and Pizzazz and Toronui. Boy, we've got a confusion with the Toronui. We have got Toranui, and there's another one. I really have to watch that one. So anybody with anything, otherwise we'll just go to the weather early. There's not an awful lot to report from here. We've got about 50% cloud cover now, so not too bad a day here. Anybody else? Do you think there's anybody out there that perhaps we shouldn't be doing the weather? There's nobody there to listen to it.
I don't know. Do they listen anyway?
Do they listen anyway? No. Oh, heatwave. For those that know heatwave, I saw one down there in Picton. Well, they're not down there in Picton. They headed off up the east coast a few days ago, and yesterday it didn't look very good to continue because of the headwinds with this slow-moving high. But they, in fact, have to go into the east coast of the North Island, Hicks Bay, I think they're going into, because they managed to wrap a rope around the propeller. What a pain in the neck. So hard to get that off if it's really burnt into the propeller when you're rolling around at sea. So they're going to make their way closer to the land and see if they can get that sorted out. Their radio is another thing that could get sorted out too, because they don't have a working radio SSB at the moment. So, yep, not too good. But a good reminder to everybody to make sure all your lines are well secured. Back at the aft end of the boat, here's David, and he's probably going to tell you about the numerous bits of line that we have attached to our rails that can tie things up. It really annoys the crew, but it seems to be useful.
No, I was going to say we've had our share of lines and propellers. The traditional way for us is coming in to drop the anchor and forgetting that we still have our fishing line out, and then you back down on the anchor, and needless to say, the fishing line finds the prop. But then one time we had polypropylene line that wrapped around it, and I needed a hacksaw to get it off. It melted all around the shaft, around the hub of the prop and whatnot. I'm sure it's happened to other people as well. Got to be careful, but oftentimes out at sea, this polyprop floats and you just don't see it. All right, well, good morning. If you paid attention to yesterday's 500 millibar report, I can say not a whole lot has changed on the prognosis of the upper waves. Still a little bit of a change, and I'll cover that. So the short wave off of Sydney today has indeed closed off, with the highest vorticity reaching all the way east to 160 east. So in other words, the upper spin, and that's that forces the air up, and that creates the low pressure systems. A second short wave has appeared just to the west of New Zealand, lower New Zealand, the South Island, while our upper ridge, the one that we've had over the country, has shifted just a wee bit east of the country. So let's look at the result of all of this via the surface analysis. The newest shortwave near New Zealand has spawned a surface depression, and by lunch it's going to lie just west of Fiordland, almost on top of Fiordland. Now there's a frontal band from that. It's going to lie almost over the country. It will eventually get here, I could assure you. Now the first shortwave had produced a depression that we discussed yesterday, and it's going to lie near 38 and 158 east. That's 38, 158 east by lunchtime today. And a cold front runs from it up 158 east. Then it arcs westward at about 22 south, 22 south, and the Oz coast. So it comes ashore about that location. Now the upper ridge supports our high, which, as I said, by lunch is going to be centered a little bit east of us, and it's near, it will be near 33 and 175 west. It more or less remains in place by Saturday, and by Sunday it's going to be near the center now, near 33 and 170 west. 33 and 170 west. That's not good because the western edge of it is going to give headwinds. Now the Tasman low is prone to drop in pressure by Sunday. It's going to get down to about a 994, and it's going to lie at 33 and 163 east. So halfway between Australia and New Zealand, maybe a little bit more than that. So winds on the passage routes right through Sunday are northerly quadrant, not good. So those that have not left, well, you might as well pick up a good book and relax. These northerlies continue right through Monday. Now the cold front is going to run from 35 and the date line to 30 and 170 east, and then on to New Caledonia, where it continues right up to Torres Strait. That's Monday. Now by Tuesday, 15 May, the front moves very little. Still northerlies, leaving Opua, while, or Marsden, whatever, it's just northerlies, period, northerly quadrant. The second depression is going to lie by now just west of New Zealand, and by Wednesday, actually not much change on it. So now we get a possible break, and this is what you've been waiting to hear, I think. By Thursday morning, Thursday the 17th, a new ridge is going to start to tickle the North Island with south-southwest winds as it approaches the country, fairly light air. Now, this ridge is simply an extension of a very, very huge anticyclone in the Bight of Australia. And it's proud to be strong at 1033. So it's a pretty intense high, big mountain of air, if you will. Now, this ridge continues to build right through Saturday. So if you depart early Thursday, you may get to 30 south, and then you cross the ridge axis. That's where the ridge axis is prone to be with the winds. Then we'll go from southwest and then very quickly go to southeast. And there'll be an area in there where you'll have to motor. There'll be hardly any wind at all. But, and this is a big but, there are a few flies in the ointment on this possible passage, as by Saturday, Sunday, the 19th and the 20th, there's a low is going to slip over New Zealand with a frontal band. Halfway to Tonga, this is another item, halfway to Tonga you'll encounter a quasi-stationary front, not the frontal band I just talked about. This is another one. So halfway to Tonga, there is a quasi-stationary front. Winds over Tonga are going to be northeast, feeding nice, warm, moist air into this thing to keep it going. So, just a quick summary then. There looks to be a departure window Thursday morning, the 17th, maybe. Getting to 30 south by Sunday looks okay, but from that point, it's a little bit iffy if you're going to Tonga, so-so if you're going to Fiji, and maybe okay for New Caledonia. Now, the models, no doubt, will be somewhat different by next week, so we'll just have to wait and see what actually happens. Now is the perfect time to start your analysis chart. We've discussed this a number of times. Write down the wind speed and the direction over your waypoints that you've established, your supposed waypoints. Every day do this and see day by day how consistent that your favorite model is, and you may learn why we call them models and not facts. So this is a good exercise for you, particularly the new people. And you know my feeling on models. So let's turn to the tropics now, and we'll look at what satellite imagery is telling us. Got up early this morning. It was about 4:30, 5 o'clock. I pulled down the loops, and I saw a trough running from the equator to Tuvalu. Then it went southeast to just north of Samoa, and it went on from there. Now there's another very active trough that runs from the Solomons to poor old Rotuma, then Wallis, and then over Samoa, and then on to the southern coast. And I had scattered cloud visible over Tonga and Fiji, Vanuatu, and New Caledonia, all of them scattered cloud. Heavier cloud lies over the banks, so in other words, northern Vanuatu. It looks like some rain up there from these clouds. So we'll give you a quick forecast now. Tonga will enjoy pretty nice trades today, but they'll be fresh. Expect east to southeast 15 to 20, and gusts easily up to 25 knots out in the open water. And this should continue tomorrow as well. And there's always the chance of scattered showers. Fiji is also under the influence of the very strong high to the south. In fact, there is a strong wind warning still up by Fiji Met. So expect fresh winds today and tomorrow. I'd say in open waters as the day rolls on, southeast 20 to 25. If you're in close, you'll be protected and you won't see these winds, but out in the open water, I think that's what's going to happen. and this obviously will bring some rough seas, and expect a moderate southeast swell rolling in. Vanuatu is going to be partly cloudy, and there'll be areas of scattered showers. Winds mainly easterly in Vanuatu, seas about 2.5 meters out in the open waters, and they're always close together in Vanuatu. So with a bit of wind and seas of 2.5 meters, it's really sloppy going. Newcastle has scattered cloud too, with northeast winds 15 to 20. Now there we can see the curvature of the isobars as that high moves east. Now tomorrow the wind's back even more, so expect north-northeast about 15 to 20. Again, a very, very good wind direction to get to Ile de Pan, if that's where you want to go, but probably not so great in the Five Isles or some of the outer îlots that you may want to go to. So there you have it. That's my version of the weather. Questions or comments come now?
I think you've answered one of the questions, which came about from Wangare and Ahata wanting to know about Wednesday, Thursday next week. So you've talked about that one. I just wondered about the departure to the east if you were going to French Polynesia. How about that? You haven't looked. Okay, let's have a look. I know we have a couple of boats looking to go east. So is there any other question from anybody? No, that's good, and thank you to the folk that responded. I have on my, I don't know why it says live stream offline on my computer, but just as well I got a response from a couple of folk. Thank you for that one. And we have got live streaming going all the way to the Northern Hemisphere. Good morning, North Star. And certainly those folk that are waiting to get going next week. Okay, here's a comment from David.
Well, those wanting to go to French Polynesia, it's amazing how many this year are doing that. Don't forget the fronts that I talked about are going to be available to give you brief right through Tuesday. The highs that are moving east, these highs are tending to be centered around 35 south once they get east a bit. So what that means is those people that think they're going to do rumline to Tahiti are in for a surprise. It's all headwinds. The usual strategy is to get to about the latitude of East Cape and work your way east there and take advantage of any north to westerly winds that you get the bottom half of the high, in other words. And also you pick up the depressions that are going east. And yes, you will have depressions. You're looking at 17 days to get there, roughly. And no matter how fast you are, you will have depressions catching up with you. And they'll give you a bit of a push. So I haven't really looked, but no one's left yet other than the ones that are halfway there. So if you do have questions on the way, we'll be happy to give you weather en route as we see it. We get the latest models here in the morning. So call in and we'll be happy to give you a bit of a brief.
And if you call in on the radio, please remember to check that your radio is on high power. We need that to get through the noise here. You're probably hearing us okay, but we've got a lovely little amplifier here. But so we need your strength there. Okay, that's about it from us. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. There was something else in here. Oh, that's right. Just no, it wasn't. I've already mentioned that. Right, that's about it. Cheers, everybody. We'll be back again tomorrow morning at 19:15 UTC, 7 New Zealand time, and whatever it is at your time on 8752. This is Patricia and David. The frequency's all yours. Now I have to work out how to do the little thumbnail.